And this is my squad mission brief for Operation Bobcat Lightning. Okay, looking at the task org, we are Charlie Company 1-5 Infantry, 1st Platoon. So our task is to disrupt enemy forces. Our purpose is to deny enemy influence on the battalion main effort. Specifically, we are 1st Squad with an attached gun team from Weapons Squad. Our JC units are 2nd Squad and 3rd Squad, which we will talk about in a moment. Our task is to attack to destroy Objective Phantom. Our purpose is to deny enemy influence on our battalion main effort. I'll say that again. Our task is to attack to destroy Objective Phantom. Our purpose is to deny enemy influence on the battalion main effort. Looking at us specifically, we are split into 2 teams. We are split into Alpha Team and Bravo Team. Alpha Team will be a security element. Their task is to interdict. Their purpose is to prevent enemy maneuver. Their key weapon systems are the M249, M320, and M3 MAWS, MAAWS, which are the same weapon systems as Bravo Team, who is the main effort. They are assaulting. Their task is to attack to destroy Objective Phantom, the same as the squad objective and purpose. They have the same key weapon systems as Alpha Team. And then we have our attached weapons Team 240. Their task is to support by fire and enable freedom of maneuver for the main element. To support this task and purpose, they will also have the Carl de Gustave and Javelin, both taken from the Weapons Squad. But they will not necessarily carry them to where we will be moving. That might be carried by one of the other 2 teams, to be chosen on a later date. Looking at the area of operation, north, west, east, south, and then bounding our AO, we have the Benign River and the mountains. This is our area of operations. Specifically, enemy assets that we need to be watching out for. Well, first of all, we have AO Ronin up here, AO No Slack, AO Amarok, and then our 2 objectives. This is the one we need to be worried about as a squad, Objective Phantom, and then Objective Ghost at the platoon level. And then we have Route Camaro, which is the enemy's high-speed route for their CSKs, and they have obstacles all along that. And then an OP here, PL Alaska and PL Arctic. Looking at the enemy systems that are in our AO, they have a platoon of Z-10K attack helicopters that trigger at a positive ID of key U.S. forces, battalion, or higher enablers. The time to attack is 30 minutes. And then they also have indirect fires, a platoon of 66 152 millimeter howitzers in AO Ronin that trigger on an ID of U.S. forces squad or larger in vicinity of Objective Bobcat. Their time for response is 10 minutes, and then we also have a team that fires a PP-87 in the early morning and at night down here, which will become important to our operation, and their response time is 5 minutes. And then reserve elements, there's a motorized platoon that can respond in 40 minutes inside the AO, and then slightly less than a platoon of PGZ-04A ADA assets, and they will respond to any U.S. Forces Aviation assets in 2 minutes. These 2, also a platoon of HQ-16s, another ADA asset, which responds to aviation assets within 2 minutes. This is partly why 2nd and 3rd platoon are not kind of discombobulated right now. It's something we need to watch out for. So our AO is kind of bounded by the Benign River and the Heian Coastal Mountain Range restricted terrain, which leads us into our GTAL. So restricted, you can see all the restricted terrain from the mountains and the river, which kind of canalize our and the enemy's approach. We have Avenue Approach 1, Avenue Approach 2, and then the enemy's Avenue Approach 3 and 4. Important obstacles. The obstacles within the AO, you see all the restricted terrain, slightly restricted terrain, as well as the urban areas, are going to force any patrols to be dismounted, pretty much, except for along Route Camaro for the enemy's CSKs. But along our avenue of approaches, all movement will have to be dismounted. So enemy is canalized, and we're slightly canalized as well. And then we have avenues of approach. Avenue Approach 1 is our best route, which can support the most. There's urban settlements along Avenue Approach 1, but the enemy is assessed to be down here, so we shouldn't have too much problem making our way down there. Mainly what we need to be worried about looking up is the the recon squad. And then we have key terrain. This is key terrain 1, which is assessed to be key terrain at the platoon level, but really important to us is key terrain 2, which is in vicinity of objective phantom, which is key to the enemy's strategy. Basically, disrupting this key terrain is really more valuable to us than seizing it ourselves, because the enemy has a static defensive position, and so keeping them, displacing them from their static defensive position, and not necessarily seizing the key terrain, that is important for our situation. And then for observation, there's long hills and valleys throughout the AO, which allow visibility with IV lines running throughout. And important is the enemy kind of dominates observation within the AO because they have these in place positions, and they're able to likely see us before we can see them, which is an important consideration. We must avoid lingering in exposed terrain throughout the AO. There are dense vegetation, but there are clearings so that the enemy can use their UAS and artillery assets, so we need to be really careful when moving. We need to move quick, but we need to move carefully, okay? And then moving on to weather, sunrise is from 0536 to 0538 throughout our time. Sunset at 1811 to 1815 throughout our time. Illumination rapidly decreases from 29 August to 02 September, and the moon is below the horizon for most of the evening. So important effects. This means our concealment will be better throughout when we're doing. We have better nods and more prevalent nod systems than the enemy does, and more echelons. And so we will leverage these assets. We will move slower, but this overall favors U.S. forces. Low wind speeds with gusts less than 9 miles per hour that shift from southwest to northeast on 02 September. This means minimal degradation of the enemy's aerial assets, and smoke and sound. Smoke will not propagate, but sound will propagate. That means smoke will be effective for us if we need to use that, but sound will propagate. Overall, this favors the enemy. Precipitation, there's a daily chance of 65% to 70 high chance of rain every day. So likely rain and mud is what we will be moving through. This may sound bad because this will slow our movement, but it will also limit the sounds we make as we're moving. So overall, this favors our dismounted patrols. So looking at cloud cover, there's high, heavy cloud cover and persistent cloud cover at over 95%. So the enemy will have limited effectiveness of aerial assets and fires. But this is a positive impact of our concealment. So overall, this favors U.S. forces. And then we have temperature and humidity, high humidity and high temperature throughout our time, 74 to 89 degrees and 83 to 89% humidity. This means likely fog in low areas, further helping with our concealment. Also, this means likely fatigue and low morale in the enemy's static battle positions where they're just sitting there in the heat. But this also means a dehydration risk for all soldiers as we're moving down. So we need to focus on those supply lines, making sure everybody's hydrated, making sure nobody heat cats, because we wouldn't want anybody to not make it to the objective. But this overall favors U.S. forces. Okay. Okay, moving on to the company, what our company faces. We face a enemy motorized infantry company at 90% strength. We have this platoon over here, which is occupying this terrain we'll talk about in a moment, and the attached PP-87 82 millimeter mortar team, which we'll also talk about in a second, and this recon squad, which is also important to us. And then outside, adjacent to them, we have this 88 platoon and the company HQ down here controlling some more urban area, and then a platoon and more assets disrupting up here. This platoon is occupying. We have a platoon battle position up here. And then moving on to zooming into the platoon analysis, we have their task is to occupy and kind of control the AO. We have a screening recon squad right here, which is important to our operation. We have a squad disrupting up here, and then the mortar team aforementioned. platoon headquarters is occupying up here with one of the squads. And then we have this squad controlling down here, which is what we're going to be really worried about. And so, zooming in further, we see breaking down the screening recon element, the squad. They will all be carrying QBZ 95s, which is our M4 equivalent, max effective range 400 meters, and they will likely have OPs dispersed throughout, ready to provide the enemy with early warning to our movement. So we have 4 OPs over here and 8 packs total, 90%. The platoon as a whole has likely at 90% has 40 out of 44 personnel. So the recon squad we're facing likely has 8 personnel. Their task is to screen. Their purpose is to impede. If we ever get to route Aries, 400 meters, when we're moving down, they'll likely initiate contact. And then if we ever get to PL Mars, closer to them, they'll likely retreat along this high-speed avenue approach, route alternate, and reconsolidate with the squads down there. And then zooming in even further, it's important to mention the QBZ 95 is comparable to our M4. And so if we zoom in even further to the squad and team down here, we have the PPZ 87, disrupting their task is to disrupt, their purpose is to interrupt, and they're orientated to the east in engagement area Zeus. We have PL Lightning and PL Thunder and PL Lightning. PL Thunder is likely their max effective range, so likely an engagement, their kind of engagement area. And then if we ever get to PL Lightning, which we won't really be moving in this area, so we have no reason. But if we ever get there, their minimum effective range for this battle position, this team battle position, is 120 meters for the PPZ 87. So they'll have to engage with M4s, and they'll likely retreat along this high-speed avenue approach and reconsolidate with the squad over here. Looking at the squad over here, speaking of that, we have key weapon systems that we have. We have the more M4 equivalents, but also the rocket launcher and a grenade launcher covering engagement area Hades. And then we have a support by fire from the CSK and driver, and then the squad leader supporting with his M4 and kind of controlling this team over here. This is what we're assessing. EA Hades likely will be the squad designated marksman over here will, with his sniper, will engage us before we get into the actual engagement zone, because the max effective range is 1,000 meters. The QBU 88 is what they carry. So we likely will be engaged at PL Dark, and then if we ever get to PL Demise, they will retreat to the west, likely. This is a decisive point for them because it is the urban area they are controlling. Their task is to occupy, their purpose is to deny. So we have the next team over here as part of the squad, and a battle position for the team, setting up engagement area Neptune. Similar, if we ever get to PL Wave, they will likely engage. Max effective range for the SAW equivalent, which is the QJY 88. And then if we ever get to PL Ocean, they likely will retreat to the west with the others. Importantly, the purpose of the enemy operation is to occupy infrastructure and control the remaining local populace and deny U.S. force influence within the AO. And then they will accomplish this using area defense, a static defensive position. And decisive to their operation is the early ID of U.S. forces by this recon squad, because otherwise they will not be prepared. Specifically, we're going to look at the COA sketch now. Okay, so company mission, as we said before, is to disrupt enemy forces in AO Ronin and deny enemy influence on the battalion. Main effort. Their key tasks are to deny enemy operations in depth, deny enemy uncontested use of high speeds avenue of approach, retain maximal combat power, avoid decisive engagement, and reconsolidate second and third platoon. The platoon key tasks are the exact same, except we are not working to reconsolidate second and third platoon. Importantly, adjacent units, second and third platoon are are dispersed in the northeast in team and squad size disjoint elements in intermediate radio contact. Looking at the platoon intent, the mission statement is first platoon disrupts enemy forces in AO Ronan, deny enemy influence on the battalion main effort. Importantly, second squad will ambush to destroy enemy on objective Reaper, right there, to disrupt enemy operations on Route Camaro. Importantly, there's a gun team, the second gun team from Weapon Squad will be attached to, second squad. Third squad will demonstrate to suppress the enemy right here on objective Ghost to deceive enemy of U.S. forces composition and disposition, as you can see along Axis Fake. And then we will be operating on Axis Ultra, as aforementioned, in detail. Sir Class, this concludes my squad mission brief, pending any questions.